Taking a closer look at California Proposition 36, the measure would increase penalties for some drug possession and theft charges. It also allows for people with at least 2 drug charges to be charged with treatment-mandated felonies. Sarah McGrew takes us to a treatment program in San Francisco that would be impacted by the measure.
The Salvation Army's Harbor Light program could see more court-mandated clients if Prop 36 passes, like Angelo Valdez.
Drug court does work. The thing is, the individual has to be ready to change.
He's one of about 80 people in the addiction recovery program at any given time.
But when I really take into account how I affect those outside, my community, then I really hold myself accountable. And that's what you learn through these programs. You learn accountability.
The 6-month abstinent-based program is directed by Adrian Maldonado.
We believe in evidence-based interventions.
He's also a former addict and went through a similar program himself.
I will celebrate 25 years on January 3rd of the upcoming year.
Right now, there's about 5 clients from drug court in that program. He says that number fluctuates, but wishes more were referred to Harbor Light, especially if the alternative is time behind bars.
I don't see how ill, traumatized people who don't have the skill yet to meet their emotional distress without drugs or alcohol are going to benefit from going into an environment where there are very little resources or support.
Prop 36 would let district attorneys charge people convicted of at least 2 drug charges with treatment-mandated felonies. Offenders would be required to complete drug or mental health treatment or serve 3 years in prison. Supporters say it would usher in an era of mass treatment while still holding people accountable for the crimes they commit.
36 incentivizes drug treatment for addicts by giving them choices, by giving them determinative agency in their own lives. Conditions in this state have become, for many, intolerable. Prop 36, if passed, is still subject to the discretion of elected district attorneys.
But opponents worry about how treatment will be funded and that more people and money will ultimately be diverted to prisons.
From what you're hearing about Prop 36, you would think it's a $200 billion funding measure that's going to put more police officers in communities, that's going to fund treatment in those communities, and it does none of those things. What it does is add more low-level offenses into the state prison eligible category and suggest to us that that is going to solve the problem.
Maldonado wants to see more people getting treatment, but he too worries about the funding. He says public funding only covers about half of the beds at Harbor Light right now.
Is the implication that the Salvation Army will just take larger and larger numbers of people at our own expense? Even if you could mandate more people, if you don't have the funding or you're unwilling to spend the funding in long-term treatment, then what is it going to look like?
So when it comes to Prop 36 and addiction treatment, Maldonado is left with more questions than answers on what it means for providing court-mandated treatment.
Then what becomes the option for the judge? Cut people loose to the community or send them to prison? Right? Because there's no money. You want them to go to treatment, but who's going to pay?
In San Francisco, Sarah McGrew, KCRA 3 News.
According to the Legislative Analyst Office, Prop 36 would increase state and local criminal justice costs by tens of millions of dollars each year.